Are you looking for a way to help your brick-and-mortar business drive more traffic and increase your sales? Look no further than the Receipt Paper Podcast. In this podcast, Joanne and Kyle provide their sage advice on how to make your brick-and-mortar store the hottest spot in town. Whether you're just launching a new business or trying to grow an existing one, these informative episodes will leave you inspired. In each episode, Joanne and Kyle take on a different topic related to running a successful business. They offer practical tips based on their own experience as owners of multiple brick-and-mortar locations. So whatever challenges you're facing, they have actionable advice for you. From finding a location and executing your build-out, to merchandising and customer experience, to sales and marketing, Joanne and Kyle have you covered. With helpful advice from these experienced entrepreneurs, you are sure to learn how to increase your sales and have your business running out of receipt paper in no time. Let's dive right in.
Well, hey there, friends. Welcome to the Receipt Paper Podcast. My name is JoJo, and today's episode is a really fun behind-the-scenes episode. We are taking you back and sharing a replay with you from our Storefront Ready Bootcamp that we did back in January. The Storefront Ready Bootcamp was a huge hit. It is our virtual online bootcamp that we do twice a year that really helps you solidify your brick-and-mortar business plan so that when you enter and open in your market, you are a wild success. This is a replay from day one where we focused on how to validate your business idea, and we share with you our 4-part framework for doing that. This is a really interactive workshop style class, so I do encourage you, if you are listening in your car, if you're out on a walk, come back and really dive into the work here. Pull out a pen and piece of paper and do some of these exercises that we take you through in this episode. I promise you, it will uncover a ton of really valuable information for you. So I hope you enjoyed this behind the scenes episode. We got so much great feedback from this class that we wanted to share it with as many people as possible. So I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you soon. So as we said, today is all about how to validate your business idea. We're going to be sharing with you our 4-part framework for validating your business so that you can confidently open the doors of your business. I know many of us, myself included, often say, man, is this idea going to be good enough for a storefront? Is my market going to like this? Is my local community even going to come in? Are people going to be walking through the doors of my business? So we're going to show you how you can validate this so you can confidently move forward. We don't want you second guessing your decision along the way. We want you to go all in. And so the strategies that we're sharing with you today will help you identify and validate that. So by the end of our time together today, you're going to learn the 4 strategies in our 4-part framework to validate your idea so you can confidently open your business without any uncertainty or second guessing and second thoughts. So who's excited? Give me a yes in the chat. If you're excited, I know I am. Like I said before, put your questions in the chat throughout. We will be answering those at the end or throughout today's lesson. So put your questions out there. We want to make sure we get to as many of those as possible. Woohoo! I love the cheering. That's awesome.
All right, so a little bit about us. Who are we? How did we get here? All of that good stuff. 6 years ago, Joanne and I started. We got involved in the franchise business. We did a wellness store. We scaled up to, what did we have? 3 locations of our own, and then a bunch across the country that we had different interests in and whatnot. And it was great. It was awesome. Now we currently own a wellness center in Coppell, Texas, a suburb of Dallas, where we do flotation therapy. We sell a bunch of products. We have events. It's the apple of our eye. So we currently don't have any children. We do have the business though, right? And our 2 children are there on the right. That's Roxy and Ollie, our 2 puppies. We're big lab fans. We're big fans of rescues and all of that. And so those are the 2 that rescued our hearts, we always like to say. We were recently married. That's kind of the inside joke in the beginning. Joanne Mester to Now Strubing, we got married in September. Best day of my life. It was fantastic. But yeah, so now Joanne and I have, we don't know everything, but as you can see over the last few years, we've done a fix for you guys to not make. I always say we'll try to get you from making that $50,000 mistake. We have knowledge in this space, and it's been become a passion for us. It's a way of life. It has not only strengthened us financially, but it's also strengthened our relationship. And I would even say spiritually, we're able to kind of bond on a much bigger level and have a much higher purpose. And not to mention we're super happy in our day to day because then we don't have to then, out working for other people like that. That was one of our goals. What happened?
Mm-hmm. I got kicked off. All right, can you guys hear us? Let us know if you can hear us. Okay, we're here. I'm
Good.
sorry. We've got some bad weather here that's coming in, so I apologize. Let us know if there's ever a moment you can't hear us.
Yeah.
That's the love, the beauty in virtual, right? Okay. So Kyle and I have experience opening brick and mortar businesses, both product and service based, and we've helped a ton of people along the way. And really our goal now is to help people not make the same mistakes we did.
Right.
We realized there was not a lot of resources. We even utilized a franchise in the beginning, and we did not get a lot of support through the franchise. And we found there wasn't a lot of resources out there for brick and mortar business owners. So our goal now is to come and help people with opening their brick and mortar business so they don't have to make costly mistakes like we did. So opening brick and mortar businesses has allowed us to build more flexibility in our day-to-day lives. Kyle and I used to have 9-to-5s in the corporate world. We were able to leave those 9-to-5s and we are all in on our business now. And we are able to be at home here with you guys on this call, which is incredible. We have more purpose in our lives. We love every day. I mean, Kyle will still come home with tears in his eyes sometimes. Sorry to throw you under the bus there, but
salty
with these incredible stories of how he talked to a customer and one of our services or products changed their lives, and things like that are huge. You guys, like owning a small business, those of you that already have one, I'm sure you can relate to the feeling. You make an incredible impact on the people that you meet, no matter what product or service you're selling, right? And obviously the financial freedom has been incredible for us. To be able to have the flexibility and financial freedom is just such a blessing, something we're so grateful for. And so that's what we like to teach other people how to do and reach the same.
Right.
Okay, so all of you showed up here today for a reason. You have a dream, a vision. You either already have a business or you're working towards this business. But I want to know, what is your why? Why did you show up today? Is it because you're looking for that more financial freedom? Are you looking for more flexibility in your day to day? Do you want more purpose? You're, stuck in your 9-to-5 that you're not finding joy in. What is your why? And I'd love if you shared with us in the comments, but you don't have to. But what was your biggest why in the beginning?
Well, we wanted to, I always say, so my biggest thing is when I was working, and it used to be a means to an end. I always used to say, this isn't who I am, it's what I do. And now what we've built is it's both. It's what we do and it's who we are. You like to think of, who are you? What kind of person are you? I always think of myself as a healer, and a kind of a helper, right? And we're able to do that and then fund our lifestyles as well at the same time. So to be able to bridge the gap for me was the total goal, to have that purpose. I mean, obviously be able to make money off of it for, like I said, to fund a lifestyle. But yeah, it's that the purpose was the biggest for us.
Yeah.
I would definitely say.
I love these coming in. If I'm going to work hard, I want to work hard for myself and my family, not for the corporate world. I get that, Diane. I'm so with you. I felt like I was making somebody else's big goals and dreams come through, right. And not my own. So I love that. Fostering human connection, generational wealth, helping the community the right way.
That's huge.
I love that.
I still think about this stuff like 6 years later. Like you have to our mission statement was originally to help the world, through alternative methods and plant-based wellness. And you truly go back to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I know it can feel cheesy sometimes, but these things are what is going to drive you through those obstacles and those tough
Right.
days, and those hard times, and keep moving forward. You have to remember the big picture. So
Right.
I love it. Thank you all for jumping in the chat and sharing. I love it's so inspiring. There's one thing that I do want you to know. If you only take one thing from today's lesson, it is opening a brick and mortar business is a extremely powerful way to make an impact on the world and while growing your income and freedom to life-changing levels. It truly is. I've seen it time and time and time again with our students and clients, and we are living proof with ourselves. So just know that that can be the case for you. All right. So I always like to know where we're going. What am I getting into? I get a little anxiety if I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm going to tell you what we're doing and where we're going today. Today, we're going to share with you our 4-part framework for validating your business idea. And along the way, I'll be sharing with you some chat GPT prompts. Don't worry if you don't know what I'm talking about. I'm going to explain it to you. But we've added some really neat exercises in this year that we didn't have over the summer. So you've got some new stuff this year that you're really going to like. And then we're going to wrap it up with some Q&A. So don't worry, we will answer all your questions, anything and everything that we can at the end. Okay, let's get to validating.
So I'm up here. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's validate that business idea, guys. Okay. First, 4-part framework to being able to validate your business idea. And if I'm not mistaken, they do have copies of all this stuff too, right? So that will be in the workbook so you guys can follow along.
Yeah.
So if I get passionate and I talk fast, so I will preface with that. Keep in mind that is, and go ahead and get that workbook for sure. But the first bullet point is knowledge and experience. Next one is going to be your market valuation. Then we're going to go over some industry potential and for that excitement factor. And I'll break all 4 of these things down for you and apply them really to how we've used them and how we came up with these. First one, knowledge and experience, right? We want to kind of take a self-inventory. Do you have knowledge or experience with this topic, right? Will you be utilizing your skills and strengths? Not to figure out necessarily even if this is something to do or for you not to do, but really we've always said more importantly, if not, then to be able to plan to partner or to hire someone else that does. So if you see the idea in the business, which I see a lot of you guys do, but also you're not as positive or as knowledgeable, you can still see an opportunity to capitalize that opportunity. You just want to make sure you build a team around that. And we'll get into some of that as well, not the cart before the horse. But I always want to, not to sit here and say, well, I can and can't do this to discourage you from doing that. We always look at it as, kind of self-inventory to figure out where the opportunities may lie, right? Obviously, if you have a passion, you're not going to let these smaller things deter you, but just going to be able to see strategically in the beginning if this is going to even be viable.
Yeah.
That's kind of how we are with that.
Yeah, you're opening a business.
Right.
You don't need a degree in business to do this, but you do want to make sure you fill in the gaps somehow. So if you're not knowledgeable on a certain area, then you want to make sure you either outsource that or you have your partner do that, or you bring in a general manager or employee that can do that. So a lot of us can be experts on the topic or the product or service we want to sell, but not know as much on the business side.
Right.
Or we see the opposite all the time too. People that are incredible entrepreneurs, they do have business degrees, but they don't really know much about the product or service they want to sell. And there's ways to fill both of those gaps. You just need to know what the gaps are, right? Before, so that you can fill them. So to help you with this, because I know this can be kind of, you think
dubious.
Yes. Yeah. So to help with this, we've got a skills mapping exercise. So if you have a piece of paper handy with you, go ahead and grab that piece of paper. If not, you can come back and do this later and take more time to do it. But all I want you to do is draw a little T just like you see on the screen. And on the left-hand side, I want you to write down my skills. And then on the right, I want you to write down your business. All right. So really simple there. And then on the left side, as you can imagine, you're just going to fill in all of your skills. Now, this can be soft skills, hard skills. This can be like, your actual education, your career experience, what you're passionate about, what your interests are. Don't be afraid to put anything and everything. And it's okay to brag on yourself here. Write down what you're good at, and fill that out. So I went ahead and did this for myself. So as an example, mine was I have a degree in marketing. I have past sales experience. When I was in my 9 to 5, it was a sales job. I believe I'm pretty personable. I like to say I can talk to pretty much anyone. I'm organized. I am the clean one in the family. I worked retail in college, and I have an interest in health and wellness. I find myself always wanting to read about it and learn about it and do things in that realm. So fill out your skills. If you want to share any of them with us in the chat, go ahead and do so. I'm going to give you a little second here to do so and just do a little thinking. Remember,
it could be skills or passions too. It doesn't have to be like, now I know I have a degree in history because I do, and it doesn't apply. But if it lends to a type of curiosity that I think we've always had, and you're able to pivot on that.
right, right. All right. If you want to share with us in the chat, go ahead. If not, keep writing. Remember, you can come back to this later. So this is just kind of a high level. You can jot down 2 or 3 and then come back to it after today's lesson. So once you have all the skills on the left-hand side, then you're going to map on the right side to how you're going to use this skill and how you're going to implement it inside your business. So let me give you some examples to get the juices flowing here. So like on the left-hand side, I'm obviously going to use what I learned in my marketing degree and how to market my business. My sales experience, well, I think that will help me sell products and services more. I'm personable, so I'm going to be working with people in my business. Then organized, management and administrative things, I think I can do pretty good at. Clean, the presentation of my business. I need to have a clean business, right? Inventory management, passion's going to show through. So these are just some examples to get you thinking. But I want you to really look at how are you going to use that skill inside your business? Because this should help you feel pretty good. This should help you feel pretty confident. Like, man, I do know a lot, and I can use a lot of my skills in my business. I know when I did this, it was like, well, dang, I know a lot more than I think, right?
And a lot of the biggest thing is like sometimes you can have that imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
And this allows you to draw back on that.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm sometimes guilty of that, and I'm like, wait a second, like we're not making this up. We've done this before. So it really allows you to kind of move forward in confidence, like you were saying.
Yeah. Yes. So I'm seeing some of you share associate degree in applied business, incredible, cosmetology license. Oh, I mean, those are awesome. Currently working on bachelor's degree. These are great. Yeah. Remember, they can be all kinds of things. Are you somebody that is like we said here, like good with people? Do you enjoy organizing? Do you Kyle's like really, really good at fostering relationships with people. Like he's the guy that remembers everybody's names and everybody knows Kyle. They didn't always forget me, but everybody at the store, like, and those are huge skills that I don't even think we realized in the beginning that we're going to be utilized within our business.
Well, it allows us to schedule accordingly too. Like you try to forward face that. It leaks more to my strengths. You know what I'm saying? So it very like, and then you're way stronger than I am on the back end too. So it just makes more sense to us to kind of push and fill in holes that way, which we spoke about earlier. If you didn't have that, to be able to pivot that for a relationship.
Yeah.
And just luckily that, the two of us are there together.
Yeah. Now, on the flip side of this, so once you've done this, you've taken your skills, you've mapped them to how you're going to use it in your business. Now, the next thing is I want you to take a look at where the gaps are, because likely, I mean, unless everybody is going to be a one-man show and is absolutely perfect, there's going to be some gaps, and that's okay. It's totally okay. So for me, we noticed there's a gap in accounting and finance. That is not my thing. Kyle and I like to spend money. We don't like to budget with our money. We need help there. We knew we were going to have to bring someone on to do that because neither one of us were going to do that.
Right.
For myself Personally, employee management was one. I had never managed employees. Now, the great thing is we made Kyle do this exercise and he had experience managing
Right.
people. So I was able to fill in that gap with him. So sometimes you can fill in the gap with your business partner or your life partner, or, have your general manager do this as well. And you can say, you might discover something about your, business partner that you didn't even know that they had done. Like, oh wow, you took a whole certification in accounting. Well, dang, why don't you do
Right.
our bookkeeping? Or, you are really good with Excel. Why don't
We're
you
not
do
saying
this?
take on a 50-50 partner for these things, but just because
That's a whole other story.
the guy's a whiz at accounting and finance, or hire a full-time accountant to sit there and stuff like that. Like these are services that you're then looking to pay for, right? So then you'd be things that to farm out so that you can free up your time. I mean, that's one thing that we've learned is like you have to be diligent with your time, and at a certain
Mhm.
point that makes sense, right? Even
Yeah.
now we're working on a much larger project now, and our whole idea of what the expenses for it is, you're like, well, no, let's think of it as our marketing team,
Yeah.
or as
Yeah.
and you're able to, my point is like, it doesn't have to, like,
These
there's
gaps can
different
be filled
ways.
in.
Yeah, these gaps can be filled in, not always with giving up partnerships too, is what we want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it. Editing my website is a
For
huge
sure.
gap. I get it.
For
And
sure.
that's okay. Look, I'm not a website person either. And that's actually one thing we are looking at expanding through franchising this year,
Right.
our business. And we had to go back and look at our branding, and our website was really lacking. So and which I will say we've made it 5 years doing well without it. So you don't have to be an expert at all of this at the beginning. I want you to know that.
Right. Yeah.
But now
Yeah.
we're able to say, okay, let's go hire an expert to
Sure.
help us with this. So you can fill these things in. So I don't want the gap to be discouraging. I just want you to notice what they are and where you need to fill in the gaps. Where do you going to need to outsource? This is going to help you along the way. All right. So take some time to do this later and come back to it. I promise you
Think
it'll be
about it
glad.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, here's an example. This is a client that we worked with a couple years ago, Emma, who opened a cryotherapy center. So she was one of those people that had that love for business and entrepreneurship, but she really didn't know a lot about the industry. In fact, when she first came to us and told us she wanted to do cryotherapy, she had never even done it. So it was kind of funny, but first we told her to go do it, and so she could talk about
Right.
it a
Yeah.
little bit.
It's a service.
She wound up hiring a general manager who was very into health and wellness. That was their thing. They could talk about it and be the front of the business, and she could be the back of the business. So I'm telling you this to show you that you can fill in the gaps no matter what they are. There is a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah. There's a way, by diving in and knowing. I mean, also
Yeah.
knowing and being, cognizant of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Lauren, I love that you said I'm a dreamer, but I'm not always accountable for the follow through. And I love that. You should read there's a book called Rocket Fuel. It's really good. And it's about being a visionary and working with an integrator, because most businesses, you have one and then the other. When you're the visionary, you're the big dreamer, you have all these visions and dreams, but you likely need an integrator, which would be maybe you hiring a project manager, or just hiring a GM, or somebody that can take the action and help, the
Yeah.
follow through. So something to think about, but rocket fuel's a good one. All right. I want you to know that having knowledge and experience on your product or service you're selling does not mean you need to be an expert.
Right.
You do not. You do not have to be an expert.
Right.
You don't have to know every single thing under the sun about your product or service. Believe me, you will learn along the way. So you just need that 10% edge. You just need to know a little bit more. When somebody comes in and asks a question about your product or service, you need to be able to answer it. Now, some of you that are actually providing the services, I think you
Sure.
might need a little
Yeah,
more
but
expertise there, but you can also learn and grow over time as well.
sure.
Right?
Yeah, time heals all, right? It's all with this, 10% edge, that whole idea of like, I don't, if we come across a bear on a trail or something like that, I don't have to be faster than the bear. I just have to be faster than one other person.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
point being, it's like, even in with the customers that we deal with, yes, I know a little bit more, but I'm not the end all expert, but they
Right.
look to you for that guidance, right?
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So number 2 is your market valuation. You want to dive into this one, Kyle?
Absolutely. So with this one, we're going to go over researching your local market, being able to identify your competition, and then if there is a lot of competition, how will your business be different, right? We always say, why are they going to drive past three people that do the exact same thing to come to you?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I know one of my biggest fears, and I share this a lot, was competition coming in.
Ah,
And when we were 6 months into
right.
business, we had just opened our first location ever. 6 months in, we had a competitor selling practically the exact same
Same
product
thing.
right across the street, like literally walking distance across the street.
Yeah.
I was devastated. I was like, what are we going to do?
In a location they
Um,
wouldn't let us have.
Yes, it was a better location. It was the one we wanted
Yeah.
before. Oh, it was devastating. But you know what? We went to the drawing board and we started thinking of ways that we were going to be different than this
Right.
person. And throughout the years, we actually had like 4 or 5 competitors come in within a mile or two.
Yeah.
So, you know, reality is it can happen and it likely will happen that you're going to have competitors come in. So thinking about how you are going to set your business apart is going to set you up for success.
Right.
I don't want you to even be worried when competition comes in, because honestly, a lot of times it can be a really good
It can
thing.
validate, it can validate your business idea.
Yeah, and it just brings more people to your area, and don't be afraid of it. I promise you that. But we're going to show you today. I'm going to show you really how to identify who your competition is and what they're good at. And then tomorrow, I want you to come back, because tomorrow we're going to dive really deep into your niche and how to differentiate yourself. So today's kind of part one of identifying what all is out there and who's out there and what are they doing. And then tomorrow we come back, we're going to show you how to differentiate it. So,
Right.
so for this year, we're going
use ChatGPT now to research
we're
the
going to
things
use
that we
a
do to
little
research.
chat GPT prompt. How
Okay.
many of you are familiar with chat GPT? Jump in the chat, let us know. If you've never used it, it's okay. It's easy. I promise you we're going to figure this out. So if you don't have the link to chat GPT, Abriana will put it in the chat here for us. But it's really easy. You do need to create a login here for it. Now, the free version, you can do everything that you need on ChatGPT with the free version. I will say the paid version, sometimes you get a little bit better answers, but in the beginning, if you just want the free version, just use the free version. So create a login. Now, you don't have to do this right now. In fact, I encourage you to just wait, do this later, because I will go down rabbit holes with that GPT. So just watch me do this. It's going to blow your mind if you've never used it before. It's pretty incredible. But ChatGPT is basically like a search engine like Google, but a little bit more expansive in the way that you can communicate with it and get a lot of answers. I use it for all kinds of things now, like creating social media prompts and posts, and even helping me write emails and blog posts. It's incredible. So many cool things. But what I want you to use it for right now is for evaluating your market. So, I hope you all can see my screen. Somebody tell me in the chat, but you should be seeing Chat GPT on the screen now. And you'll basically just come here, you open a new chat, and you just start typing to it as if you're talking to a person and asking a question. So prompt number 1 is, I want to open and this is where you're going to insert your type of business. So just for this example, I'm going to say clothing boutique in Dallas, Texas. So obviously here you're going to put your location. And I'm going to ask how many clothing boutiques are currently open. All right, let's watch the magic. I still don't understand how it's so fast. It blows my mind. All right, well, normally it will show. All right. Okay. Sometimes you have to be a little more specific. Boutiques are in. Let's try this. Okay.
So how do you go to Chamber of Commerce?
Okay, I don't know why it's not working today, guys. I've done this like 10 times and it worked just fine. normally when I do this, it's going to show me the exact names. So if you can see this example here, I did this one yesterday. It might be because our reception is bad here. But so yesterday I did this and I asked, what are the top 5 most popular clothing boutiques in Dallas, Texas? And here it's showing me the top 5. So you would be able to find out what else is out there. Sometimes some of us don't know what even is out there as far as our competition. So take a look at this and you can identify what all is out there. Now, if ChatGPT doesn't work, go to Google. You can also Google your zip code and what businesses are out there. And then, of course, we can also do the driving around thing. But sometimes I really like going on the internet because you'll find things that you didn't know were there and businesses that you didn't know. So identifying what all's out there. And I really like this ChatGPT. Like, look at this explanation on the screen. Vintage Martini specializes in designer and vintage fashion. Like, that is detailed. Like, that is incredible information to know. They have sell powerhouses like Chanel. That sounds like a really fancy store. Right? 4510, a luxury department store offering a blend of traditional and up and coming designers. Dolly Python, that's a fun name. A vintage Western clothing store with a unique collection of secondhand cowboy boots. Okay, I can know, man, I don't do the Western thing. I don't need to compete with them, So just being able to see this detailed. So play around with ChatGPT, see if this information comes up for you. Hopefully it does. But it's incredible knowledge to me. I was like, wow, they were able to provide me these exact things. So you can see, I went on here to what are the boutiques closest to my zip code. So we are in Flower Mound. So now it's showing me specifically these top 5 ones that are really closer to us. So sometimes if you live in a larger city, it's better to do a zip code because it's going to get a little more granular and closer. So like their address and stuff. So all right. Was anybody able to get
there? Like, we'll even go there and see what are they doing that works well. Where is the opportunity there, right? Like, you could go to their reviews, all types of things. Like, I'm sure it's not just the products that make it so great, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a whole wide range, the customer experience, and that's some things you want to dig in, not to be discouraged, but to say, okay, here's some opportunity. Really is where you're looking at. I mean, that's what we've done.
Yeah. So search your industry within the city. I want to open a blank in blank. How many are currently open? Search the zip code and get a little more information. Tomorrow we're going to come back to this and we're going to dive a little deeper, like Kyle said, like getting a little more granular into what your competition does well and what they don't do well so that you can fill in that gap somehow. So do this first part, do some research tonight, scope out who's out there so that when we come back tomorrow, we can dive in a little deeper into it. All right. Let's see here. Let's get back over to this PowerPoint here. Was anybody able to get some interesting responses on ChatGPT? You don't have to jump over there if you aren't over there now, but I'm always curious. Bookmark that page. We'll come back to it, but you'll get some interesting stuff. All right, another thing you can do to understand your market is survey your market. Now, there's some incredible things that you can do. One is create a survey or poll or discussion in like a local Facebook group or online forum. So we do this, like we have like a Moms of Flower Mound page. There's like 30,000 people in that Facebook group, and jump in there and say, hey, thinking about opening a donut shop. I would specialize in,
ABC 1, 2, 3
vegan products that are, beautiful and handmade and whatever it is. Would anybody be interested in this?
Flower Mound moms down for that?
Yeah. Or I'm looking at opening a clothing boutique. what would you guys like to see in a clothing boutique? Oh my gosh, those moms would go nuts and be like, oh, I want to see this designer. I'd want to see more dresses. There's no places with cute dresses around here. Get people's feedback. This stuff is valuable. So go find local Facebook groups, or the Nextdoor app is another good one. A lot of people are often on Nextdoor in your local area, and go ask these questions. Get that feedback from your local market. There's no better way. Plus, you're already doing a little marketing and advertising there too, building some interest and getting some excitement by telling people that what you're thinking about doing. For those of you that I know some of you mentioned you're already doing wholesale, so you already have customers. If you already have customers, go ask your current customers. Send them an email. Ask them in person when you see them. Hey, I'm thinking about a storefront. Would you come to my storefront if I had one? Those types of things are incredible to get. So make sure you're asking any type of customer data that you already have. Go look at it, go ask those people. That's invaluable information, and taking the time to do this will really, really help you in the long run.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at chat. I got one eye on chat.
Uh,
When I see you, chat, I promise we'll get to it. We'll get them all in.
yes, we will. All right, so I do have another Chat GPT prompt for the survey. So if you don't know what to write on the Facebook group, I love using Chat GPT for this. Let's pray that Chat GPT is working for me today. Let's see here. Well, you know what? I think it's because I'm on 3.5. Let me go to the Chat GPT 4. Okay, so my prompt is something like, I want to post in a neighborhood Facebook group to obtain feedback and insight on opening my clothing boutique. Create a personable, friendly post for me. Let's see what happens. All right. I mean, it gives you a great starting point. Like sometimes I feel like, oh, I don't even know where to begin with what to write. And this is great. I love doing this. So something like, I hope you're all enjoying, talk about the weather. I'm reaching out to share some exciting news and get your valuable insights. My name's JoJo, a fellow resident of our vibrant community. I mean, you can tame down the cheesiness if you want, but I'm thrilled to announce that I'm planning to open a clothing boutique right here in our neighborhood. Share a little bit about what your offering has, what your service or what you're selling. But I need your help. I want to hear your thoughts. What types of clothing or brands do you want? Are there any specific? I mean, this is great. This is huge. I couldn't have come up with this on my own. So, this is phenomenal. A great way to use ChatGPT. So, if you don't know what to write to post in a local group or the Nextdoor app, use this. You could even have ChatGPT write an email for you if you want to send it out to your current customers. Great things. This will save you so much time. So who is going to commit to posting in a local Facebook group or Nextdoor app and get some feedback about their business? Who's going to take that as an action item? Let me know in the chat. And isn't this cool? ChatGPT, for those of you who haven't seen it, I think it's pretty phenomenal what it can do. But there we go. You already got what to post here, and you can come and play around with this. And I always encourage you to take what ChatGPT has and make it your own. You don't want, I don't love the copying and pasting, but it gives you a starting point and somewhere to start on. All right, back to it. Back to the PowerPoint. Okay, here we go. Number 3.
Number 3 is industry potential. Okay, let me get into number 3. Go ahead.
Alrighty.
Industry research is an ongoing process, and it doesn't need to be all done in one day. So all you want to do, right, is set aside 30 to an hour to try to dive into your industry and figure out basically figure out what we're working with here, right? Everybody claims that every business is, a $40 billion industry by ABC 1, 2, 3. Where did that number come from, right?
Yeah.
And figure that out just to see if, there is a market large enough for underwater basket weaving or not. That's what we're going for. So I'm going to teach you a little bit on how to research. We'll do that through trade publications, government reports, competitor analysis, and some market reports. Okay.
Yeah.
With a lot of this, I always say consider the source and think about that as well. But this is basic general where we're going.
So this is another area that you can come to ChatGPT. Now, I want to caution you here though. ChatGPT does need to be fact checked. I don't think it's the end all be all, always accurate and correct.
Right.
So make sure that you're asking for sources, and I'll show you that here. So let's come here. Okay, so I'm going to actually open up a new window here, a new chat with ChatGPT, and I'm going to say review trade publications and market reports for the retail apparel industry. Now, you would obviously put your industry in the United States. I always want to keep it to the country that I'm in because, you know, what's going on in retail in India is very different than the US. Share with me the industry research, highlights, and predictions for 2024. And then I'm going to ask it for citations so that I can go check those. All right. So if you don't want to spend all day at the library going through all of these, then you can do this. So now you have a high-level overview, some geopolitical and economic uncertainty. It's going to go into all of these things, market dynamics and consumer behavior, and it's citing which reports. So the McKinsey report, keeps going. So there's so much valuable information. I know a lot of people, I know when I was first opening a business, I was like, I am not doing industry research. Like, I am not going to go read trade publications. Like, I didn't think I had the time in the day, but I can tell you that it is so valuable to actually spend some time going through this, and really digging in deep here. So being able to do some research really, really quickly and save time and get these high level feedback is invaluable. So you can see here it finished going through the highlights, but I can come down here and click on these. Okay, this is the State of Fashion 2024 report. That's huge. And you can just click on those and it will take you to them. So, I mean, these are some high level reports, but you definitely want to make sure you're looking at the citations. So caution, it's not the end all be all, but it gives you a great starting point. Look at the fashion apparel industry trends, all kinds of stuff here.
Right.
So gives you a starting point. Now, as Kyle said, industry research should be ongoing. When Kyle and I's first business was in the cannabis industry, it was CBD. And oh my gosh, that industry was changing every single day. I mean, we could barely keep up with it. But the thing is, we had to. We had to stay apprised with what new products were coming out, what new legalities were happening. And so there's a couple of different ways that you should be staying informed on your industry. And that is industry associations. There's tons of those out there. I think some of you are probably already in your industry associations, but check out what's out there. Online forums and social groups. I mean, we are in one now. It's a float therapy online community, and it's incredible and valuable, the information we get to it. So go find people on Facebook that are doing similar things. You guys are here. That's a great place to start. You're finding out what's going on in the world of retail and storefronts, and this is a great place to be and a great community to be around. Like, we can keep you up to date with what's going on, what's working, what's not working. So stay in this community. It's a good one to be in. Trade shows. We love going to trade shows. We learn a ton. So see what trade shows are out there. And then podcasts, YouTube channels. We're big fans of podcasts. If you don't listen to the Receipt Paper podcast, little plug, come listen to our podcast. We try to keep you up to date with what's working and not working within here. So stay informed. These are some great ways to do just that. All right, Kyle, you want to wrap us up with number 4?
The excitement factor. Okay. I like that branding picture. Your business does not need to be your hobby, but it does need to excite you. I always say this, right? We've been doing this now for 6 years, 7 years. And I always reference this, like, I am excited still to this day to come in and go to work. I am. I wake up before my alarm hits, and that drives me through a lot. We're talking, you're looking at last, some of these leases are what, 3, 5, 7, 10 years sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know that this is going to be something that 6 years
Yeah.
to a 10-year lease, that you're going to want to do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can find it, don't get me wrong, but it's got to be there.
Yeah.
It's got to be there from the beginning.
And you still gonna want to get out of bed and do this. I get excited. Sometimes I can't go to sleep because I'm so excited about something we're doing in our business. And that's such a fun feeling to have. But I just want to make sure for you that you're going to have that feeling. You're going to go all in on this business. 5 years later, I want you to still be fired up about it. And for a lot of you, I so see that.
Yeah.
I so see that. But I just want you to validate and go that extra step to say, yes, this is going to be something I can talk about and do for years and years and years to come.
And like
Right.
Joanne said, we started as cannabis, and fine, it was what it was, but it's morphed into wellness, and now we're so excited about it. I'm excited about what new comes in every day, like how other modalities that we can do to help people. Like, it really, like, you continue to evolve too with your business. It's very exciting.
Yeah. So another exercise for you to do for this is just do a little journaling. And I want you to journal about where you see yourself in 5 years. And if in 5 years you want a lifestyle that does not fit this business, then maybe it's time you should consider, we're not going to tell you need to open a business if it's not the right thing to do for you. But this is for you to say, man, in 5 years, I actually see myself having multiple locations, or I see myself, having this one location and it thriving and me being there and being able to impact my local community. Like, what is it going to look like for you? Just take like 5-10 minutes and just journal a little bit and really help you validate and envision yourself there. Yep.
Dig it. Yes.
All right. So to wrap up and bring it all together, the 4-part framework for validating your business. Number 1 is the skills mapping exercise of really understanding your knowledge and expertise, how that maps to your business and where the gaps are. Are there any gaps that you're going to need to fill, which you can absolutely do? You just need to identify what they are. Number 2 is the market evaluation. What is the feedback you're getting from your current customers, your current community? Go grab that feedback. Go understand what your community needs, what they want to see in your business. That information is invaluable. And then also just identify what competition there is out there. Come back tomorrow and we're going to dig a little deeper into how to differentiate from them.
Right.
Number 3 is your industry potential. So what is the industry? What are the trends reports saying? What are they saying about your industry? The CBD industry for us was kind of a fly by the night industry that just popped up.
Legislation, right?
Yeah.
We needed to know things could change. Sorry for cutting you off, but things could change. So we needed to be up on that. Like, you need to know that, like, where is this at? As suppliers, is obviously we don't always need to eat, but like, where is the market for that, right?
Yeah. So understanding your industry and then how you're going to stay up to date with your industry. And then lastly, number 4 was the excitement factor. Does this truly light you up, and can you see yourself doing it for years to come? Once you've gone through all of these, it is safe to say that you have validated your business and you can confidently move forward knowing, what, this business is for me. This is a viable business in my community. People are interested in it. I'm interested in it. And I have the knowledge and expertise to move forward. And that is important for you to know. And I want you to confidently move forward. No more second guessing after you've done this, because you can come back and say, no, I did that work that JoJo and Kyle told me to do. And so I don't have to second guess this anymore. I'm going to go all in, right?
Yeah, it's simple, right? 1, do you know enough about this? 2, is there, potential to make money with this? Are there enough people to make money at this? 3, where is that going? What does that look like in the future? And 4, how bad do you want it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's really, if those things all gel, you got something. Is what we're getting at. We're not saying it's going to work forever, but we're just saying you got something.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So What is one thing you're going to commit to taking action on today? Tell me in the comments. What are you going to do? We gave you a lot of ideas, diving into ChatGPT, doing that skills mapping assessment. Are you going to go do that? Are you going to go jump in a Facebook group and ask for some feedback from your local community? Tell me in the chat, what's one thing you're going to do? Are you going to go look at trade publications, figure out who your competitors are, maybe just do some research there? Definitely the skills mapping. I love it. That's such a great exercise. Skills mapping and surveys. We love that. Phenomenal.
Don't
Journaling,
be totally
yes.
discouraged by Facebook. If two mean people are mean people, then let it go. But just get the overall, we want you to get the overall
Yes.
vibe on it.
Journaling is such a good idea. It can really help you get clear on your vision here. So ChatGPT, I love it. Market research, love that. Yes. Commit to doing that one thing today, and then tomorrow come back and tell me you did it. If you go through this process and do a little bit, I want you to comment in the Facebook group and say #validated. You validated your business and you're moving forward with confidence. So I want you to do that so that we can see it. So tell us that you've taken your action inside the Facebook group once you've done it. All right. I think it's time for Q&A. I think we've done a lot of talking here. So, so if you've got questions, put them in the chat. We're going to open this up and do our best to answer them. All right, Kyle, you want to read off number one?
So, Justin, luckily for me, there's very little competition for what I do. Bricks and minifigs. The nearest similar stores are approximately 2 hours from my home. My concern is, do my local demographics support revenue targets? Any tips on evaluating that, right? So there's a couple things here, and not that it's too high level. We certainly haven't discussed this today. Like, who is your target customer, right? Like, what does that look like? Is it a 35-year-old female head of household? Like, because that was ours in the beginning, and we went where that person was. So I want, you want to be where is kind of what I'm saying, right? And then you want to figure out, and they have demographics for this. Is that there? And also, is my price point enough to validate that? Like I said, I don't want to get too far ahead or anything like that. But like, if you're selling a $10 widget, if your average transaction is going to be, $10, in order to make $100,000, you got to sell 10,000 of these things. And if in a population of 10,000, obviously that's not, and I know that sounds overly basic or whatever, but like, that's really where it starts.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you say? Like,
yeah. I mean, I've seen people in a rural town with 5,000 population that have done incredible things with their business because there's nothing else there that does that. So, the fact that there isn't competition may really support your business. But like Kyle said, you need to look at who is your target customer, which we are diving into tomorrow, a little sneak peek there. And how many is your target customer there? If your target customer is all 2 hours away from you, are they going to drive from there to you? You'll have to consider those things. But if you have enough of that target customer base near you, then you're golden, right?
Sure.
So join us tomorrow. We'll dive into help you brainstorm who your target customer is.
Median incomes and stuff like that, population. Yeah, that's all there too.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
What if someone steals your idea, Miss Brittany? What is your thoughts on that, Jojo? Good friggin' luck. People say they can do it, but good luck to them. Like,
I can understand that concern. I think that you will get, at some point, you're going to have to start advertising your business and talking about your business. And, I wouldn't give them like trade secrets, but, give them the high level of what you're looking to do. Now, if you are still really far off from this, I mean, you could wait, I guess, but I think you're going to get more value from the feedback than the chance for somebody to steal your business. I mean, at a certain point, you just got to go all in.
Basing a business off an idea that you're going to steal from somebody, like you're not grounded. Your business in and of itself is not grounded in any type of karma or anything.
I mean, and the reality is that if they're trying to copy, they won't be able to copy you based on just what knowledge they get from one Facebook post.
Yeah,
so. I say go for it. I say go for it. I know the concern.
I'm not, but I just like, You
I
can't,
get it. I get it.
I get what you're saying. I'm not brushing you off, but I'm brushing them off. Like, good
Yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Good
I
luck.
was worried about things like that.
For sure, but they can do it like it's you will dig into it like our differentiator and stuff like that. We just kept hammering on that, and it was like they did us this better service, and we knew where our gaps were with them that they weren't filling. It was like the same products. We had it happen right across the street, but they
Yeah.
didn't have what we had.
Yeah.
They did not have the customer experience.
Yeah.
They did not have all the other things. All they had was the product. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Got me fired up.
Go for it, Brittany, and
Got
let
me
us know what the
fired up.
responses that you get. All right, Bernice, do you know who owns this or how long it's been around? I have a problem with, okay, Chat GPT, sorry. So Chat GPT was launched just this past year, in 2022. It's owned by OpenAI. So it's a big, huge community that has built it. So I would say if you don't want to put, like I said, proprietary information into Chat GPT, it could use it for, it's taking in as much information as it's spitting out, right? So I would, if you have proprietary stuff, don't put it in there. But I think in general, it's not going to, it's like Google, anything you put in Google, I mean, can be utilized too. So do with it as you wish
Yes.
there. So if you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it for sure. Lauren, will our local library have documents for market research too? Yes, absolutely. I can't tell you the last time I was in a local library, so I'm not the best go-to person there.
Last week.
I think you went to one recently. Yes.
Somebody threw out Chamber of Commerce, stuff like that. Like even like realtors and most of the stuff you can find online. Like they have demographics of whatever the zip code or like Papel, Texas demographics. And it can show it over the change. And there's a Google search, Chat GPT,
like for sure.
It's all there. There's no, like old records and stuff.
And the librarians there can definitely help you.
Yeah.
They can help you do some research.
Yeah, if you're gonna go in somewhere local, I'd go into the chamber, honestly. Like they have a ton of other, they're obviously gonna try to sell you to get you on, but like they're there to help with that. Like it's easier to open more stores after the first one, or is it really easier? Getting them open was easier. Yeah, it was so much harder to manage though, Doris. Like, but it
definitely gets easier because you've done it.
Yeah,
once you've done it once, you can do it again. Like, I mean, by the time we got to our third store, oh my gosh, we opened that third store within like 3 weeks once we got the keys. It was incredible because I knew exactly what paperwork we needed to do. I knew exactly what to do. And now when I help people, it's the same way. I'm like, I can tell you exactly what you need to do and exactly how to do it just because you've done it before. And
what to focus on, what not to focus on. Where to spend your money, everything. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. So, once you've done it once, if you have goals to expand to other locations, you can do it a lot easier. It's never going to be as hard as the first one. No. Never going to be as hard as the first one.
You're not guessing at that point.
Yeah. Sorry, I wanted to come back up here. Justin, you had responded. Okay, your average transaction is $50. You want to sell $1 million a year. 250,000 relatively wealthy folks who don't have to cross a bridge to get to me. To me, that sounds, I think.
So at 50, so in order to hit what, you want to sell $1 million a year. So that's, what is that, 70,000 a month? At $50, that's a bunch of transactions, right?
So figure out how many transactions you would have to do in a month. How many people do you need to get through your doors?
Right. And think of like what if that 250 number, think of like, all right, if I capture 1% of that market, or I capture 3% of that market, how of percentage of that market, how much do I have to capture?
20,000 transactions. There he is. You've already done the math. See, you're on it. I love it. Yeah, but I mean, that's doable.
That's almost 10% of of the community of that 250K that you're drawing off of. And but that's not new every time either, right? You have to and it's a goal obviously to get to $1 million, you work your way up there.
Yeah.
You don't just, I would assume that industry isn't,
very seasonal too. I mean, I love that you're thinking about how it's seasonal, because those are things that you want to take into consideration. Okay, I'm going to be really busy during this time, and this is when I'm going to make, the majority of my revenue, and the rest of the year maybe this. So you're thinking about the right things, Justin.
You're on it.
You're,
Yeah.
yeah. Keep,
Yeah.
just keep,
I just
keep
don't,
doing
we
the
just
math.
don't, like, and we're not poo-pooing it. It's just like, just make sure you know how many transactions you got to run.
Or, take a look at, is there something else that you can add in your business to increase that transaction by another 50?
Right.
Is there a complementary product or service that you could offer to get that average from 50 to 100?
Right.
Maybe, if people are coming there for one thing, then you can offer them something else. There you go. I love it. Awesome. All right. If you have any other questions, pop them in the chat. Those of you that are in the Facebook group, put them in the Facebook group comments. We can get to those as well. You don't just have to be on the Zoom call. Tomorrow, we are going to be diving into the 4 key decisions, and we've changed these up this year, and they are really, really valuable. This is where we're going to really dive into how to differentiate yourself versus the competition, how to create an experience. I don't care what product or service you are selling, you need to have an experience portion of your business. And we're going to explain what we're talking about tomorrow, but there needs to be a reason that people are going to walk into a physical storefront over going to your competition, over shopping online. Why are they going to come to your business? And it's because they're going to get a certain feeling when they walk in, right? And we're going to show you how to craft that feeling and experience so that you have something that nobody else can touch you. And some other great, awesome decisions that we'll be diving into tomorrow. I don't want to ruin all of it.
Yeah.
So come tomorrow. Tomorrow we will also be giving away 2 Amazon gift cards. So another bonus to show up and join us live. And I would just say tomorrow is the most important day to come. If you can't show up live any other day, come tomorrow. It's a really big one. Very, very valuable. And then don't forget to do the homework, take action, jump in that workbook. A lot of you put some incredible things on here that you guys want to go do, journaling or jumping into ChatGPT, or you all had awesome stuff. Go take action. Go hold yourself accountable to doing that, and then hop over in the Facebook group and say #validated, picture of yourself, tell us you did it. I'm excited for you. We'll be cheering you on for sure.
Yeah, and if you have questions, you can message me or JoJo direct. Like, we're a pretty open book
Yep.
about all this stuff. We're happy to help.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys engaging.
Yes. Sorry about the technical difficulties, but hang in there with us. We will see you all tomorrow, same time, 12 o'clock Central Time, 1 o'clock Eastern. You will get an email with the Zoom link, or you can, of course, watch us in the Facebook group. Goodbye, everyone. We cannot wait to see you. We will see you all tomorrow.
Thanks for tuning in to the Receipt Paper Podcast, your go-to source of information for starting and growing a successful brick-and-mortar business. Subscribe to hear future episodes and share this content so that more people can access these valuable insights. If you're looking for more resources to help you with your brick-and-mortar business, visit masterbrickandmortar.com or follow us on Instagram at masterbrickandmortar. Thanks again for listening to the Receipt Paper Podcast. We'll see you in the next episode.